Well, it was amazing to be, as a non-athlete, to be involved in the opening ceremony. It was just an incredible honor. The whole opening ceremony is to honor the athletes who've come all that way and worked all that, who worked so hard. But it was an amazing show. So I also, it was honored to be asked, but it was also amazing to be part of this huge piece of sort of amateur drama with thousands and thousands of people on stage.
And let's talk about the tweet that you posted during the ceremony. It reads, quote, "This is for everyone." And I can read into it as a sort of commitment to openness and a World Wide Web that is open and accessible. But tell us in your words what you meant with that statement.
Yes, well, I tried, I suppose, get as many things into that statement as I could. Yes, it's about the openness. It's about that anybody should be able to participate in the World Wide Web. It's about that it should be open in the sense that anybody can connect, anybody can have a website, and if I connect to it, I can talk to any website. It's about openness and that you don't have to pay royalties for patents when you use it. It's open in that sense. And there's also, of course, the question of when you look at the stadium full of people from every country, you realize that actually the World Wide Web is only used by 25% of the people in the world. There are lots of reasons why there are lots of people who don't actually use it. So when you say, I can say in principle this is for everyone, and the technology is such that it's for everyone, but in fact there's also the question about how we can actually make sure, how fast can we get the other 75% a part of the information society.
Yeah, it's still early days for the World Wide Web, and the statement that you meant during the opening ceremony, it celebrates openness and freedom, and yet the Olympic organizers, they've been exerting strict control on copyright. I mean, for example, unauthorized videos of the games, they're immediately taken down online, taken off YouTube. What do you make of the IOC's control of Olympic content on the web?
You mustn't confuse the openness of the internet with saying that everything's for free. This is not, doesn't mean that everything has to be free. No, there's some things that you pay for, and it's really important. The musicians, for example, and artists, and hey, people who make television programs even should be recompensed for their work. Sometimes the musicians choose to make their music available to anybody to download, and sometimes you're supposed to pay money for it, and then you should pay money for it. So the World Wide Web is a place where, yeah, there's a massive amount of information which is free because all of the information which allows you to, say, get around town, allows you to get to find where you're going and meet people and so on. A lot of that is free, but there are some things which are where there's a market, and the marketplace is also a very important part of the web.
Clear distinction there. Now, London 2012 has been called the first social media games, and we've all been watching it played on Facebook, on Twitter, but also, especially here from Hong Kong, on Chinese social media sites like Sina Weibo. And active censorship takes place there and throughout the internet in China and other markets like in Iran and Saudi Arabia. As the inventor of the World Wide Web, what is your thinking about these internet censorship regimes?
My feeling is that so censorship is generally a bad thing, that a strong government is one which is able to allow the people in the country to access reality, go onto the internet and see how things really are and discuss how things really are. I think that makes for a strong country, and it's a strong government that can do it. A more weak government that's worried that it has to control information from its own civilians, from its own citizens, then I think that's something which is a pity when it happens and where it happens. And I think with time we'll see it go away bit by bit. I think we'll see that information just gets around these blocks, and after a while governments realize that for the country to work economically, it's got to be open.
I'd like to ask you a question about the semantic web. Is the next stage of the web's development been said again and again? Now, the regular web right now is dumb because web pages, they're designed to be read by humans. But the semantic web, it includes information so computers can understand them. So, Sir Tim, what does that mean for me? I mean, how will my personal web experience change with the arrival of the semantic web?
Well, you personally, you may not know, in fact, that some of the websites you're going to already are using the semantic web. A lot of websites, you load the web page, and then inside it, the web page goes, which is a little program. It's like running your web page is like a little computer, and it goes and gets information from the web, gets from the web of data. The web of data is a sort of parallel web. It's out there on the web, but it's data files which are used by programs. So when you go and look at something like a catalog, for example, when you're buying things, when you look at a map, then the program running in your web page is going out and getting all this data from the web of data. The web of data is exploding right now. It's very exciting. One of the things that's driving it is open government data. For example, a lot of governments have started to put data about how the country is running out there on the web, and people can then write websites which then pick that data up and use it to great effect.